What I basically want to do is in 15 minutes tell you what I know about how to rank at the top of Google and generate MQLs. You all have opinions on that. You all have a foot in this world. This is all I have done since 2003 or so. I've been in SEO since then. I run First Page Sage. We're mostly B2B, but we're pretty good sized SEO firm. I think we're the largest SEO firm in the US. And because it's something I'm so deeply involved in, I think I have it down to a very simple art. So let me start with a little bit of background. When I started doing SEO, you could get onto the first page by writing the keywords you wanted to rank for 1,000 times in tiny white letters at the bottom of your website. You buy links. Link farms were a big thing. It was the age of, you could use technical SEO to get to the top of Google. It was a free for all. It was fun for those that were involved. Around 2007 or so, things started to change. And the way to get to the top of Google, it was more about content marketing. Back then, 500 words with a stock image. If you did it pretty well and you blogged a few times a week, you could rank at the top. And somewhere around 2014, HubSpot came in, and back then they were just a SEO tool. And they created Hub and Spoke SEO, which today is the dominant model of SEO. It's this idea of topical clusters of content around certain keyword categories. If you publish articles and landing pages on every single little aspect of a subject, then Google sees you as a niche expert on that subject, and you can rank very well from that. So although SEO certainly has changed a lot since 1998 when Google debuted, I don't find that you needed to do things terribly different, even the whole time I've been doing it since early 2000. Sure, there's some technical things that have changed. Mobile friendliness and mobile firstness has become very important. Site speed, security has become more important. There's been personalization by geographic area. But essentially, it's always been the case that if you create the best piece of content on the internet for a given search query, that you have a good chance of ranking highly. It's good that Google has gotten rid of the overimportance of links, and they care more about the quality of content. But because we have so much proprietary data from our clients, we put together a pie chart of our view of Google's algorithm every year. And essentially what I find has changed between, let's say 2018 or so and almost 2022 here, is that simply focusing on the user experience just matters more than it ever has before. The importance of backlinks, which have traditionally, since Google started, been the main signal that creates trust and allows your site to rank, has continued to go down over the years. 2 years ago, they were more important than they are today. And I think they keep going down because Google now has the ability to look at whether somebody is getting what they were seeking when they typed in a particular search query. It really is about thinking very carefully about what somebody means when they type in a certain search query. If that's one that's commercially valuable to your company, what do they really mean? What are the questions inherent in that search? And then answering it in a way that is visually pleasing and gets people the answer to their questions inherent in their search query as fully as possible, but with nothing extra. All of us here don't like to have our time wasted. All of us here are inundated with meetings, with information. There's more content than we could ever read produced every day. And so the content that answers our questions as quickly and efficiently as possible tends to do the best. So that's pretty much what we do inside my company. It's what we do for clients, and it's what everybody should do if they want to rank highly, is consistently produce articles in a strategic way using the hub and spoke kind of topic cluster model, where you're producing the best page of content on the internet for the keyword that you're targeting. I essentially think of, if you really break down the Google algorithm, there's just two main ranking factors. On your website, the main ranking factor is your meta title tag. So you need to tell Google what the page is about. They obviously long have been able to scan your web page very quickly, but they still look to your meta title tag, which is why they use it as the bold blue heading of search listings to tell you what's on the page. That's the most important thing on the website. And then Google Trust, as I said before, it originally came from links. It was taken from the notion of academic citations that Larry and Sergey, who started Google, they were at Stanford in graduate school, and they knew that peers' opinions within the academic world in the form of citations were a good way of conferring trust. And that's how they came up with links as trust, and that revolutionized the search world. Well, today, as I say, they still are a big percentage of the Google Trust Score, or whatever you want to call it, domain authority or whatever. But they matter far less than simply appearing to be a news website. And by that, I mean, if you really wanted to codify that into a process, you would just publish 2 pages a week, every week, whether it's a blog article to receive a more research-oriented search, someone's looking to do research, or a landing page, a geo-targeted page, or a product feature page, or a use case page. And that would be for more research pages. You publish 2 pages on your website a week, every week. You do it for 4 to 6 months. Regardless of whether you have a lot of links, you're going to start seeing your rankings increase across the board. That's pretty much the formula of what we do for our clients and what we do for ourselves, and what works. Here are all the different types of landing pages I can think of. I use landing page in an organic way. Most people mean the sort of pay-per-click or the SEM way. But these are all the different ways that tend to be valuable or commercially valuable to organize what's on a site. And hub and spoke, just to visualize it a little bit more. If I'm a software development firm that does nearshore development, the Fortune 500 companies or whatever that would hire this company, they would type in nearshore outsourcing. So if that's my main keyword group, then that I would have a hub page that basically is your definitive source of information with links to tons of other articles about nearshore outsourcing. And then I'd ultimately have 20, 25 different pages linked from it. I just have this simplified 5-page structure, 4 pages from the hub. But some of the most important ones are services, which just means I want to buy nearshore outsourcing. Company, which means almost the same thing as services. Companies, which means something completely different, not completely, but it means I want to compare companies and make my own decision based on looking at an objective list. And then benefits, which means I want to read a blog article and see if it's worth doing. It's further away from the moment of transaction. So it's less valuable, but probably high volume and still valuable. This is just 4 of, again, it could be 25 within the container of nearshore outsourcing. Now, this is how we do it in my company. This is how we start to plan how to create pages that rank highly and ultimately drive leads. You rank these commercially valuable keywords after a brainstorming session. And this, I'm just giving you the top 5, but again, there might be 25 just within this hub of nearshore outsourcing. And then you assign each keyword to a page type. What would someone want to see based on whether they typed in a transactional search, I want to buy something, or a research-oriented search, I want to get more information, I'm not looking to be sold to. Then where is that going to be linked? Within the header menu of the website, typically. And finally, what's the plan when you know that if you really want to rank at the top, you need to create a better page than the #1 listing on Google currently is? And this is my last slide. Essentially, this is what we do on our own website. It's easy for me to show you these examples because I'm directly involved. But like this is our article that is targeting the keyword SEO ROI, which is valuable for us because somebody that's looking to know what the ROI of SEO is might want to hire a company like ours to do their SEO for them. So you realize, you see that it's not a group of paragraphs. It's not a dry group of paragraphs. It's filled with graphics. It's filled with proprietary information. There's different ways of displaying the information. It's just high value the whole time and interesting the whole way through. Now, you're not ever looking at it in this 3-column way. You're seeing it in a typical web page way. But this is the standard. And it's hard to create a page like this. But I'm a big fan of doing things that are difficult because they're doable. It just might take like 8 hours to create this article as opposed to you pay a content marketing firm or you have the intern write it and it takes an hour or 2 hours. And then it's just becomes number 26 on Google. And it's why did you create it at all? There's so many companies doing this. I'm kind of obsessed with excellence in all aspects of my life. And to me, this is the only way to do SEO is to focus on excellence in this way, truly create the best. So perhaps I can show you a few more examples. Carter, we still have a few more minutes, and then this will be the end of my part of the talk. Yeah, okay. So let me see if I can share. So the article I just showed you for SEO ROI, it looks just like you saw. So that's how it reads. But essentially the way we organize information on our own website, if you look at our header, is under company, we have basically tons of excuses to rank. We want to rank for every industry plus the word SEO company. We want to rank for every location plus the word SEO company. And then we want to rank within these hubs. We have 7 hubs under which we have 10 plus pages each. So if it's like, B2B SEO is our hub, then we have a page dedicated just to B2B SEO agency. And then we have links at the bottom. And this is what I call a hub page, but we do this for each one. And so the goal is that, if you type in like B2B SaaS is one of our major target things, anything, SEO company, we want to be number 1. I think like biotech, I can't remember which ones were at the top or number 2 or number 3, 4, but you go down the list and we just have created a page. Now the key is that this page needs to be the best on the internet. Apparently it's second best in this case, but they're long and thorough, personalized pages. None of them are a copy paste job. And they have proprietary information on them, graphs, that sort of thing. And often they'll talk about, really specific things, have client examples. So it's just a lot of hard work. And then the other thing we do is we put out a lot of data which earns us a lot of links, still a good chunk of the algorithm. And we even do some what I call vanity pages. So if you look at like top SEO company in US, notice that there's an objective list that says the first page says is the top US SEO company. So this is a page, of course, we publish on our own website. And we do things like this gets us a lot of leads, which is fascinating because you as sophisticated people might say, why would I trust that they put themselves number 1? But we do the same as SEO keynote speaker. It's amazing that like this stuff absolutely works because when people see enough impressions, then they tend to trust it. So this is basically what we do systematically for ourselves, for our clients. And it's no more complicated than what I just described in the presentation. And second, I'll go back. Actually, I don't need to go back to the presentation. The formula is basically 2 new pages a week. Each one has to be the best on the internet. They take a lot of time. Each one is focused on a commercially valuable keyword that fits within the structure of a topic cluster or a hub and spoke SEO model. And the hard part is just getting team members who care enough to really like almost listen, quote unquote, to the search intent behind the keyword and really think about what the human being meant, what problems they have, what their situation may be. How can we personalize the page to the industry or the use case that they are expressing within the keyword? And even if we don't know their industry, can we kind of put superlatives at the bottom of the page? It's like, if you're in this industry, you probably want to do this. If you're in that industry, you want to do that. You have to become almost like a maestro of satisfying people. So that's basically what I think about during the day and what works as far as B2B SEO, but it would work for B2C as well. It's just, this is the world.